Hello, and welcome back to Hello Mansfield, and welcome to our segment, our new segment here, Talk It Out with Stanley Psychology. I'm Dr. Amanda Stanley. I'm a clinical psychologist and local group practice owner, and my staff and I are going to be rotating in weekly to have a talk about mental health, to give you guys some mental health tips, some tricks, and there's some general education. Last week was our very first segment, and what we talked about were some foundational mental health pieces. And so things like eating decently and moving our bodies and being sure to prioritize sleep. Well, as promised for today, we're going to talk about that prioritizing sleep a little bit more. For a lot of people, sleep is such a struggle, yet sleep impacts everything, right? So sleep impacts our mood, our irritability, it impacts our cognitive functioning, our memory, it's our energy levels. It really does impact just about everything. And because of that, we need to prioritize it. But the problem is we are constantly just surrounded with stimulus, with data coming in. Our brains are constantly active. We have responsibilities. It's go, 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 go. And because of that, when we lay down to go to sleep, we're not always ready to go to sleep. And our mind stays active. And then we can't sleep, right? So today I want to talk about some general sleep hygiene strategies to help increase the chance of getting some good sleep. So the first thing I want to talk about is just environmental, right? So sleep, research tells us that we have the best chance at getting good sleep if we are in a cold room, a dark room, and a quiet room, right? Which that might sound simple, but I want to talk about it a little bit more in depth because a lot of things kind of go on that we don't even really think about, right? So for a dark room, as an example, things like blinds and the blackout curtains and things like that are really popular, and those can absolutely help. But sometimes we underestimate the impact of our electronics everywhere, those lights that are still on, that maybe when we first go to bed and turn out our lights, we don't really notice them, but as our eyes adjust, we see the charger lights on our laptops, we see our phone charging, we see the TV lights, right? All those little lights can really send ourselves signals to stay alert. So we want to make sure to block those. We want to make sure to turn those off, right? As far as a cold room, I'm going to quote a research study here that's going to sound alarming, so I want to give that caveat first. But there was actually research that came out a couple years ago that told us that there was an ideal temperature for the room to be for humans to sleep, and that is 63 degrees. That's cold, right? Like, that's cold. And I will say, I do not recommend anybody set their thermostats to 63 degrees living here in Texas, trying to get through these 100-degree summers, right? Because I can't afford that electricity bill. Not many people can, right? So that's not what I'm saying. But I share that number with you just to be able to say we need to maybe bring the temperature down a little bit. We need to have it just a degree smaller. We need to maybe even have like an ice pack that we can put on our forehead or on our chest to help bring us into good sleep. And so make sure you prioritize having that cold room, that quiet room, that dark room. For the quiet, I'm a big fan of those sound machines, right? You can buy them for like 30 bucks on Amazon or a free app just to drown out some of that extra noise to try to set yourself up for good sleep. All right, and we're going to go to commercial.